Hello, Gabrielinos. Welcome to 411 with the Chief. It's Gene Harris, your friendly neighborhood police chief. I'm going to go ahead and remove the mask while we're taking care of 411 tonight, but I'll put it on as soon as we're done. We are properly socially distanced here in the office and obeying all of the CDC and county guidelines, as I hope that you are. We want to make sure that you all stay safe during this continued COVID time. Welcome to 411 with the Chief. This is an opportunity for folks to come and ask any question of the police chief, and I will give you straight and direct answers, unscripted. The only thing I will not talk about is ongoing investigations, as that's inappropriate, but anything else we're willing to talk about. You may be asking why we haven't gone back to in-person meetings yet. We will. We had some difficulty getting our city council chambers set up to accommodate, and so as soon as the city council meeting goes back live, we will go back live and we will put the word out to you folks so that you can be aware that we're going to be starting those personal or in-person meetings again. So I appreciate the patience, and we will get there shortly. For this 411, we've had one question come in, and it's from Andy. Go ahead, Andy.
What can be done for the horrible graffiti on our walls and buildings? Can the taggers be fined or their families? Can cameras be set up and, if caught, punished? Can the police be more involved apprehending these individuals? It's out of control. I call often, public word repaints the wall. 2 days later, it's there again. Please help.
Thanks for the question, Andy. I appreciate it. It is becoming a problem, not just in San Gabriel, but in the West San Gabriel Valley as a whole. There's a couple things that are going on, and I'll address each of them separately. The first is that we've had a lot of folks that have been recently released from jail or prison who are back on the streets, and that is the way that they communicate when they return back to the neighborhood. We've had an influx of Lomas and Sangra graffiti down in the south end of the city, and that's indicative of the timing of when people are released from jail and they come back to let the streets know that they're out. That's a frequent occurrence, and we have a detail that's monitoring that. We have a detail that's going down there really denoting the graffiti and trying to get it removed as quickly as possible. We're also trying to make sure that we're tracking the folks by name or moniker as to who they are and what they're doing so that we can put them in the system and go from there and try to really determine whether or not we can hold these people accountable civilly. We can in some cases, but it's very difficult, I'll be honest with you. The second part of it is that we really don't have a mechanism for accountability. When we arrest these folks, there's no accountability for them. They're immediately released without bail, and they're not being filed on by the district attorney's office. And that's just the nature of where we are today and what we're doing in our criminal justice system. Not casting aspersions at anybody. I'm simply telling you the facts as we are faced with them. Not much is going to happen with these people when we arrest them unless we're faced with a felony case. And in that case, it would require some substantial investigation to get it there. However, with misdemeanor cases, it's not likely that we're going to get prosecution. We will continue to arrest people, and we will continue to chart them and monitor them. But right now, we're trying to find the civil solutions to getting these things taken care of. So I appreciate it. The biggest thing that we're trying to do is get it down as soon as it goes up. So we're really working with graffiti abatement and some of the other folks to make sure that we are getting that cleanup done, and it's not marring the beauty of our beautiful city here. So again, maybe not the answers that are going to make you feel comfortable about how fast things are happening, but we are getting the things done and approaching it in that way. So thank you again for the question. Appreciate it. Additionally, we are implementing a camera system throughout the city called FUSUS, F-U-S-U-S, and it allows us to have access to cameras at business establishments, government buildings, etc., that allow that video footage to be captured immediately in our dispatch center and pushed out to our field units. We think this is a game changer for us. We're at the final stages of implementation, and in those busy areas, we can put a camera out there that can be monitored remotely. Instead of waiting for it to be pulled down or going whenever there's a radio call, we can actually see it on the screen happening live and dispatch units to it. So we expect that to be a very big deal this year and moving forward. So again, we're taking some steps to deal with this, what I consider to be a major quality of life problem. It's also a major problem with dealing with the potential violence that comes from graffiti, and I promise that we will stay on it and try to eliminate that problem. Thank you. Okay, we've also received a couple of questions about what's been happening with the City Council and the resignation of both City Council member Jason Poo and Mayor Chin Ho Liao. And I would strongly urge folks that are interested in finding out the circumstances about the open seats, feel free to refer to the city website and get as much information as you can about the vacancies on the city council. Very important. We don't have a lot of that information to provide here at 411, but I will direct you to the city council website. Additionally, this is February, right? The month of Valentine's Day, so I want to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day. Make sure you find that special person that you have and do something special for them or with them for Valentine's Day. And certainly, we'd be remiss if on our way out we do not mention the Happy Lunar New Year. So Happy Lunar New Year to you all, Gabrielinos, and we hope that this is going to be a great year for you all, and we're going to do everything we can do as a police department to make sure that happens. So we'll sign off for this time, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Hello, this is Greg Vinck, the Public Works Director and City Engineer for the City of San Gabriel, and this is the February update of 411 with the Chief, where I'll discuss some things going on in the world of public works in the City of San Gabriel. First, since my last update, the heavy paving work in the northwest area of the city has finished. All that remains now is some adjustments to valve cans and manhole framing covers and some striping of stop bars and crosswalks. They've been putting them in on Las Tunas recently, and that should wrap up this year's paving project, which probably I think is the biggest the city has ever done and quite noticeable. There are certainly many streets and alleys left in the city that are in poor condition, and we will keep hitting them up as funds become available for it. Next year's project, which will be, I'm guessing, fall 22, will certainly be smaller. Budgeting today is a third of what this giant project was, but we are looking for more funds. We have some community development block grant funds, 2 years saved up. That's $300,000 to $350,000 going into streets there that we didn't use this year, but it's still going to be a lot smaller of a project. And all our alleys are bad. There is some council desire to resurface the Mission Playhouse parking lot, possibly in the next street paving project. Anyway, what else is going on since paving has finished? Our field operations crew that does streets, sidewalks, traffic signals, street lights, markings, they've lately been focusing on sidewalk work because they've been working for months on the fiber optic line, or just the conduit for it, under Las Tunas before we paved Las Tunas. And so there's some deferred work, but they've just put a new sidewalk in at the corner of Muscatel and Elm where there was none. It was just people walking on dirt and turf. They last week replaced the sidewalk at the end of Pine Street, just north of the Ace Trench, where a lot of tractor trailer traffic has run onto the sidewalk and crushed it. So we did put in a thicker, stronger sidewalk over base material, and we even put in some bollards to stop the tractor trailers from going up on the curb. We were just about to do sidewalk repairs around Washington Elementary when the principal came out and says, don't do it now, that's our drop-off zone. It is normal that we would work around schools during breaks, spring break and summer break, but because the request came in, we went to look at it now. Now's when we're available, but we can defer that most likely to summer. We have plenty of work to do, so the crew moved to the 1000 block of Palm, where they'll do some sidewalk and a driveway apron that's in very poor condition. We're also out hitting up red curbs. So we have our paint truck going out every day, and mostly along the commercial corridors, we're refreshing the red curbs. Red tends to fade to pink over time with UV breakdown. We have completed a night vision inspection of streetlights and signals all along our major corridors. So it's kind of shocking how many streetlights we have when they burn out. So just for an example, we drove down San Gabriel at night. San Gabriel Boulevard alone had 20 burnt out streetlights. So we immediately go out there after the inspections and fix the lights, but we're doing the commercial corridors right now. And I imagine we'll hit up the residential streets next. We have today, well, the day I'm recording this is actually Lunar New Year. So our crews have gone out and changed all our downtown lighting to red, all the LEDs that have a color function. So the bistro lights along Mission are now red. The rope lights that are on palm trees, kind of left over from the Christmas holiday season, we programmed them to be red. So although the massive public events that we had in prior years has been canceled due to COVID concerns, we still are kind of decorating to make it a little bit festive if you're in the area. And another crew is out in the Stradmore Alley. There were some complaints that vegetation is overgrown and there's trash and it's in bad condition, so we're working on that today as well. The last week, this week and last week, we've done a big push for 2 grants. They're relatively small in size, a ballpark of 50, 60, well, one is 50, 60,000, to fund the city's compliance requirements with what's called SB 1383, which is a new state mandate for waste compliance where food wastes have to be separated and reclaimed and diverted from going to landfill. So we do have our Athens Services, our trash hauler, handles the bulk of the needs for that program, but there are some obligations on the city, some staff time to investigate or to visit facilities for inspections and monitor and report on it. So we've applied for a smaller grant for that. And it's still not a huge grant, but we applied for a $200,000 grant. The deadlines for both are today, February 1. But the larger grant, $200,000 plus, it requires a city contribution of $75,000. We've put in a grant request to reconstruct the 2 restrooms at Lugo Park, which are old and dated, as well as the concession stand building at the baseball field. All of those, we maintain them, we keep them clean, but they're just really old, and some of the vandalism, you can paint over it so many times, but it still looks like it's painted over vandalism. They're just worn out facilities. We do keep them clean and sterile. We sanitize our park facilities every day for COVID concerns, but still they could use a freshening up. And so we put in a grant for that. Hopefully we get it. And in the next, probably if the grant comes in, I think in 2023, late 23, we'll actually do that project. We just have a long backload of work to do in our building facilities. We also took possession this week of our new chipper trailer. So for our tree crews that go out and deal with poor condition trees, failing trees, structurally unsound trees, and even trees that fall over, like we had 4 large trees go down in the last windstorm of two weeks ago. We do have a smaller chipper now, but it's really heavily used. It's used almost every day, and it's pretty worn out. It's been jimmy rigged back together, and it's just worn out, and it's smaller. So we have a much better one we're excited to use. We haven't even used it yet. We're working on the registration for it. Our sewer crew is just doing routine work right now. They are running the camera truck in the lines for our compliance with every 5 years we have to video inspect every line in the sewer in the city, and they're also running the jet truck every day as well. Probably February, maybe March, we're actually going to attempt to do an in-house project where we found from camera inspection some pipe that is spalling and degrading and actually falling apart. It's a concern of a sewer, it could cause a backup if it does collapse, but also sewage gets into the ground, which is undesirable. And so we're actually going to do a point repair where we go to a location, we're going to dig down, and our own crews are going to fix it because it's not very deep. The work on Delmar is progressing with Edison. They're doing footings for vaults and footings for the new poles that have to come. So Delmar at Valley, all those power lines are going to be run underground when they cross Valley. After that, we have to do a sewer project to replace some of the sewer crossing Valley, and after that, we'll finally do the paving project on Delmar. So the north end of Delmar, not the very last block or two, but the rest of Delmar is in very good condition. And when you near Valley, maybe a block or two north of Valley, and when you go south of Valley, it's in very poor condition again. So probably in 2022, we hope to wrap up all three projects: Edison undergrounding, sewer replacement, and paving. So that's all coming this year as well. And that is about all I have for this month's update. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again next month. Thank you.